Welcome, everybody. The 2023 NFL Draft is over, but it's never too early to look ahead to the next draft. I'm Joe with the Game House, and today we're going to be taking a look at the best interior defensive linemen for the NFL Draft Summer Watch List. The interior defensive linemen are up in our 2024 Summer Watch List for NFL Draft prospects. As a reminder, these are just in alphabetical order, some guys to watch this upcoming college football season. There's still a lot of football to be played, so it's a little bit premature to rank them. I guess you could and then just re-rank them as the season goes on. But this is just guys to watch as we go forward through this college football season and into next draft season. So let's get it started with Michael Hall of the Ohio State Buckeyes. The Buckeyes have a very talented defensive line. If you watched the edge rusher video, you know that already because, man, do they have some guys we've already listed and some guys we're going to get to here a little bit later on. Hall was a very good recruit in 2021, played a little bit during his freshman season, and then in 2022 in the starting lineup, 7.5 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks, 6'2", 285 pounds, little undersized for the position, and he needs to add more strength to his frame to be able to hold a spot and shed better. But he moves well, very well laterally. I think he can attack gaps. He stops the run decently and provides a good interior pass rush, which means he could play all three downs at the NFL level. I think that's something I could see in his future. Was really impressed with his quickness. Had some very good games, some very good plays for them when Ohio State needed him the most. Jerzon Newton out of Illinois. Illinois has had plenty of players selected in the NFL draft last year up from the defense. Newton's going to be one of the guys who might be one of the better ones as we go forward. Might be one of the top defensive linemen taken, maybe the top defensive lineman taken next year. Only a 3-star recruit in 2020 for Illinois. Played as a true freshman, 1.5 sacks, 1.5 tackles for loss. Improved 2021, 3.5 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks. And in 2022, he had 14 tackles for loss and 5.5 sacks, really improving on what he had done previously. Solid size, 6'2", 295, allows him to overpower opponents, take on double teams. Violent hands that help him shed. He doesn't have the best lateral mobility or pass rush moves, and will need to work on that for the 2023 season. More of a 4-3 defensive tackleman than a 3-4 interior lineman or nose tackle. But I think he can fit in with a lot of systems. There's a lot of multiple fronts in the NFL, and I think he can provide some versatility up front for an NFL team. So he could be a guy who goes number one in terms of, could be the first defensive lineman going in the 2024 NFL Draft. Mason Smith of the LSU Tigers. He stayed in the state of Louisiana as a highly touted recruit. Good 2021 season for the Tigers. 5 tackles for loss, 4 sacks. And after starting the opener of the 2022 season against Florida State for LSU, he suffered a season-ending knee injury. He's got really good measurables for the position. He's 6'6", 310 pounds, and he has good power to help him shed blocks. I think he's got good gap integrity against the run. But he does have limited flexibility, and he can let his pad level get too high, which are things he needs to focus on this season. I think he's a guy who could really rise up draft boards, but he's another one of these players who needs to prove he's healthy and show that explosiveness maybe that he showed a little bit in a smaller scale in 2021 and showed it at a bigger scale in 2023. Leonard Taylor, the big-time recruit, was able to stay in his home city and play for the Hurricanes. Always good when Miami's able to get those Miami recruits for the Hurricanes. True freshman, he had 8.5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. Proved as a sophomore to have 10.5 tackles for loss and 3 sacks. Good frame, 6'3", 305 pounds. He's another player who needs to keep his pad level down, add strength to have that better power. But he has great burst snap of the ball, very athletic for his size, and he uses it as his athleticism to attack gaps well. I think he's another guy who could play a couple different positions on the interior defensive line. More of a 4-3 interior lineman than a 3-4, but I think with these multiple fronts in the NFL, I think he can fit in a lot of places. So Ohio State we talked about having a couple guys, but Clemson has a couple guys too. Tyler Davis, very productive freshman season and then played well in 2022, but he had some tough times in between. 6'2", 300 pounds. I'm looking for that Clemson defensive line to really take a step forward this year. We'll see if maybe the offense can keep the ball a little bit longer and keep them off the field so they don't get tired. But yeah, I think he's a good player. And then Rook Ohorhoro, I know that's how you say his first name. Second name, maybe I butchered a little bit. It's a very tough one. He didn't do much his first 2 seasons on campus. Really upped his game over the last 2 seasons. He's coming back to a 5th year to improve in stock. I want to see more reps out of him. I think he can be a guy who really improves his stock this year. Clemson has a stacked defense. We already talked about edge rushers, defensive linemen, especially linebackers too. We're going to get to some of those guys in the linebacker video, and even some guys who aren't eligible. I guess more so guys who aren't eligible for the NFL draft too. That just they're loaded. They're loaded at linebacker. And then Tyleik Williams out of Ohio State, great size for the position, 6'3", 330. He's really good at helping stop the run. I don't know if he'll be able to play 3 downs in the NFL, but he could maybe add some weight, be a nose tackle. He could slim down, maybe be a 4-3 defensive tackle. But I think he can fit a lot of these teams that have these multiple fronts as well. So Ohio State and Clemson, you look at those two interior defensive lines, and you had some really good players on those. Let me know if you think I missed anyone in the comments below. We have a lot of football still have to be played, so I definitely missed someone. We'll be adding players to the big board as we go along. For now, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.